Yo, what up? And welcome to the Tailgate, an extension to a regular podcast where we get you hyped and ready for the game. I'm your host, Smarts, alongside the always angry Angel, his counterpart, instigating George, and the man with some facts, Masa. This is the Tailgate. Good evening. How's it going, fellas?
What it do, baby?
Shit.
Yo.
Secret. All right, so we're all doing different shits, you know?
I guess
No
so.
laws when you drink in the club, baby.
I guess
That's
so.
cool.
Whatever you guys doing. Angel, you still at work, huh?
Yeah, so I have to pick up my sister who's coming from Salt Lake City. Oh, Melissa, you guys know her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's coming from Salt Lake City. She will be here. Should be landing around 11:10 or so. And I work in Culver City, which is, well, actually, I work in Culver City, but the part of Culver City is like borderline Westchester.
Mm-hmm.
So I could get to the airport in like 10 minutes from here. So I
That's your
figured, you know
sister,
what?
right?
Nah, not that one. Not that one. Listen, I'm gonna be forced to interact with her this weekend because obviously Melissa's coming down. So
wedding.
and then we have the family wedding this weekend. So
Fuck, yeah.
you know,
What are you trying to get Angel mad for? What are you doing? What are you doing, instigator George?
Because I know the ratings, my man.
Oh, you know
by
the
the way, this moment has brought to you by Peter Light.
Peter, no, that's just Monday.
Mira, y tengo mi cafecito.
Not today is White Claw Thursday. Or
Yeah, today we're sponsored by White Claw, except for me. Truly.
That's Mondays. Mondays we do
Mondays, White
Mondays
Claw.
we do Pedialyte.
Yeah, Mondays.
No,
Pedialyte,
Mondays we do
Thursdays-
Pedialyte to recover from the weekend.
Attack it.
What? Okay, all right. You know what? It doesn't even fucking matter. This is real.
Send us the check, y'all.
Listen, it is the tailgate, a special edition tailgate, because we played last night. Galaxy took on FC Dallas, and let's get into that before we talk about Seattle. coming up
Yo,
on
actually,
Saturday.
before we
Okay.
because I wanted to talk briefly about the barbecue and the bar crawl, because we didn't get to obviously on Monday, just because you know we try to make it about Steve. Just give a few shout outs. Just 3 people that came out and really the turnout. First thing, shout out to my boy David Sayas, one of my homies that I've known forever. Actually, George knows him. Is our cat that we got drunk as fuck with 2012. Yeah, 2012 when the Kings won the first Stanley. Yeah, 2012 when the Kings won the first Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I bring that up also because I remember he hit me up that he listens to our shit and that caught me off guard. Like, oh shit, tight.
Tight.
Just
That's
yeah.
dope.
But anyways, ACB barbecue. Just want to give a few shout outs. First of all, that has been the best turnout that I think we've ever had.
Ever.
Rudy, you've been ACB longer than me, so I'm
Ever.
sure you could vouch for some even before I came into the picture.
Ever.
The NAG, well, Eddie came through and some of his boys from the NAG crew. Dave from LA's Our House. I know Lewis couldn't make it last minute, but I know he was planning on going. The Angelino Empire, which is all our IE people. Marvin, his brother Otto, and then Art also came over. Some of the Ghost Ultra guys that came through, obviously Outlaws, Manny and his brother,
Outlaws.
they came up.
Manny,
Mhm.
shout out for the scarf and the shirt.
Yeah, they might get no shirt. Damn. A fucking scarf. I mean, I don't do scarves, I just have one scarf now, but other than that.
For sure.
And then, a whole bunch of, just non-SG related, podcast related Galaxy people that I know came out and just
Galaxy
hung out
family.
with us. Yeah, so shout out to all of them. You know what? Even shout out to Rancho's On-Site Tacos. By the way, to the Galaxy fan base, as you guys know, we are going to do a charity drive with them at some point, probably in December. So in case you guys want to help, come and join us, it's going to be out in our old stomping grounds, at least George and I's old stomping grounds right there in South Central. So we'll talk about it when that time comes. Just keep that in your minds. It's going to be at some point in December. So shout out to all those people. I know that some people were able to play soccer. Unfortunately, I couldn't, but I heard Masa got a red card. I want to ask, Masa, why did you get a red card
Because I'm Diego Polenta as fuck.
in scrimmages, dog?
Diego Polenta against San Jose?
Because
or Diego Polenta regular?
I could confirm that I don't play soft like Bruce /
Bryce.
Ooh.
Bryce goes hard. Bruce.
Wait, Bryce played?
No, Bruce played.
Well,
Bryce
Bruce
didn't
or
show
Bryce
up.
doesn't matter.
No,
No,
Bruce
it
played.
does matter.
Yeah, it
No, it
matters a
does
lot.
All right. Well, so
Bruce
Bruce
played.
played. I didn't realize that shit.
Yeah, Bruce played.
Yeah.
And the Master cracked him too. He
yeah,
should have got a
different.
double red card, but he only got one.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't know if you guys were able to catch LA's Our House yet since then. And Dave towards the end he talks about that a little bit. And apparently it's funny because I obviously I couldn't play, right, so I was paying attention to it, and you could see that a lot of people, they had the intention of doing certain things. I guess mentally, they knew what they wanted to do
Physically,
but their body said, "Psych, motherfucker."
see,
And
I look.
that shit, yeah.
I played 2 games and I looked great at them because I only played about 4 minutes each. because I know my body and I know I only
Right.
have 4 minutes. I was like, 4 minutes. I got solid 4 minutes in, and then I'm out. But you know what? One last shout out in the barbecue. You motherfuckers are clean people, right? I was one of the last people to leave, and the park, and especially the area we're in, was all clean. The trash was overfilling.
I mean,
but you guys did your thing. I appreciate that. Because listen, sometimes we have left that park looking not so
Yeah.
great, but this time,
and I vouch for that. I was one of the few that stayed all the way to the rear end. Evie did too, and obviously Rudy and a few other people, and we cleaned up a bit. Like, I mean, obviously a few things here and there, but nothing crazy. I mean, yeah, you guys did solid. I'm glad you guys are not a bunch of pigs like some people I know, not named Jesse, but you know that's a different story. And then obviously the next day, as you guys are aware, the bar crawl happened. Unfortunately, I didn't make it to the very first one. A person named Jesse and his lovely wifey picked me up, so we only made it to what's that shit called? Something Joe's. I forget what the fuck that's called. Well, excuse me. We made it to that one. By the time we got there, most people had already made their way over to Legends, where the game was actually gonna be streamed and all that stuff. That first spot I went to that I made it to was cool. It was a bit small. You can tell why a lot of people probably took off from that one. The fucking cups, man. The fucking notch. I gave one to George already.
Hey, shout you out
What's
for
up?
that shit. That shit's dope.
You
Yeah,
got one
dope.
for me, Angel?
No, I do not, but I can find one for you. If you need one, let me know. I will find you one. As a matter of fact, people listening, if you have an extra one, Masa need one, Rudy need one. Get him some.
so
Yeah, so we need two.
Should all appreciate it.
But at the bar crawl, once I made it over to Legends was popping. I mean, it was packed to the fucking max. That's a pretty big fucking sports bar. I've been to quite a few, a lot, right? Obviously, we drink a lot. We go to a lot of sports bar. That's definitely a big one. They have a top section and then the bottom section. The top section, by the time I got there, was already maxed out. They weren't letting anyone in. The bottom, by the time I got there, if it wasn't for Chris already having a spot, for us to sit down and shit like that, it was at that point was already standing room only. So it was fucking packed to the max. A bunch of people that were there. I mean, you name it. AC, obviously a bunch of ACB people. I met the first of 5 guys there. I met Tony. He goes by SXE Tone or Ton on socials. He's the guy that took a picture with me that said he met a local celebrity. And that's his big ass W. Shout out to him. Obviously our boy Hugo. Yeah, well, obviously our boy Hugo. Shout out to him. I don't know if you guys caught that that tweet that he shared about the fight that happened by the bar.
The Bingham supporters again. Yeah.
True fucking story. Facts. I was part obviously of the anti-Bingham crowd, and security rolled up like trying to chill no, we're just that's just how soccer people are. Like yeah, exactly. And then whibviously a lot of the large people. I mean, obviously Mike Sanchez was there. He was cop-wing as fuck. I backed him up a little bit. Vic, Axel, which you already know is the cat that wants us to do the tailgate, an actual tailgate episode at the stadium. Which I kind of give him an idea, and I'll bounce it by you guys later. But obviously it's gonna have to be in January when I'm back. Because you can't have the show without me. I am the show. Obviously
we're doing it next week. We're doing it next week.
Yeah, do it next week.
Tina Trouble
has been like
What's
20 minutes already. We're getting.
Well, yeah, but that's the point, dog. That was part of this shit. Obviously Tina, Andrew Melber, who we met, and actually funny story with Andrew Melber is proof that I am sexy as fuck. Anyone that wants to deny that, go ask Andrew Melber what happened at fucking at Legends or whatever it's just called. I'm sexy as fuck. But everyone that rolled out and pretty much straightforward, good shit put together by the FO. Shout out to y'all for that. And the cups are nice.
And there's been another episode of In the Stands.
The tailgate who tried to get you in and out. Unfortunately, he just took all the time, so we couldn't get time.
Yeah, there's no in and out today. We have like an hour today.
But like I was saying before we got into shoutouts, we're gonna get into FC Dallas and then finish off with the prep to Seattle, the preview to Seattle, and ACB plugs towards the end. Let's get into it. We got a dub at home yesterday, right? Let's talk about our lineup. We came out with Bingham at goal, Steres and Polenta center backs, Shelvick out left, Felcher right, Leggett and Dos Santos playing center midfield, with Efra Alvarez playing cam, Pavon out left, Araujo out right, and of course Zlatan up top. What are you guys thinking when you see this? Right, it's quite a few changes from what we saw against DC, not formation wise, but just player wise.
my initial reaction is like, what the fuck are we doing? Because obviously, real shit. Like I was on the defense. I'm a hurt puppy, especially after what happened at DC. As the game played out, which we'll get to, I completely understand it was a good move. But for my initial reaction is, what the fuck were we doing?
Really, I felt the opposite when I saw the lineup. I was like, "Oh, I like it."
Yeah.
We needed rotation because obviously midweek game and then again on Saturday.
Yep.
And we played on Sunday. I saw it and I was like, "Oh, you rest the players." I was surprised to see Felcher starting because I don't think he's a 90-minute player, but
Trash.
I saw him back to back and I was like, "Oh, whatever." But then when I seen Araujo playing up top, like there's someone who could back him up when it comes on the defensive side. And then I kind of saw the lineup. I was like, "Oh, it's not bad." The people that are, I guess, your key players that were starting. So, I mean, there's that.
Angel, you had any concerns?
I didn't like it. I had big concerns, mostly because we just took 3 fat ass L's in a row. It was 3, right? 3. Portland,
Atlanta, DC.
Atlanta, and DC. 3 fat ass L's in a row. We're back home. We're neck and neck with like 5 other teams in the conference. I get that. Listen, we're gonna play a Saturday. That's September's supposed to be worse, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of the schedule. You need to put the best possible lineup. If players are able and they're ready to go, you put them out there. You need the fucking points, especially with other teams playing each other that same day. That are fighting within. Listen. I 100% would have agreed with rotation if we would have won at least 1 or 2 of the previous games. Yeah. Right, at the last 3, or at least tied a couple. Basically, gotten some type of results where we're not coming into the home with basically minus 9 points per se.
We'll play with teams trailing us and not us trailing teams, right? Like that.
Exactly. And that's what my issue was. And look, I'm agreement in terms of that we needed the rotation, which is why it's a legitimate dilemma. It's either way. It's picking. I guess you're less bad poison per se. You have to go with one, and the game showed it, right? Anyway,
it's one of those. If you look like a genius if it happens, and then you look like an idiot if it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, Rudy, what do you think?
You know what? So if I see Polenta and Steres, if I see people and Steres, I'm okay. I was concerned when I saw Shelvick and Felcher and Araujo. Right, I just felt like there was a lot of holes, and I also the only thing I was really curious about was 2 players, which was Legit playing next to Jonah, because I think based on the way he's been playing, I think that role fits him well for this season, and Efra. I wanted to see what Efra could do, having the quality of players around him like he did with Pavon and Zlatan. So I was curious. I was a little concerned with our backline, or at least are out wide. But looking forward to see what Legit and Africa provide in this formation. And so let's get into this game. The first 20 minutes, the pressing, the touching, it was nice. I really enjoyed the first 20 minutes of that game. After that, we just got, in my opinion, we just got super sloppy to the point that we almost gave up a goal to Dallas if it wasn't for the crossbar that saved us. Yeah. What are you guys thinking of the first, half of the half?
I think we got lucky. Like you said, I think if that crossbar shot would have gone off, we would have seen a very different game. And then I think GBS would have been forced to make subs pretty quick. I think we would have seen subs in the first half, but with that crossbar came off of a corner that personally I think Zlatan should be there. I think Zlatan was a little bit too close to the first post to my liking, but it did bounce. I personally don't think the ball should never bounce in the box like that. You got to clear it. But we got lucky. Fortunately, we got lucky. I think if that ball goes in, we're having a different feeling today. But lucky for us, it didn't go in.
Yeah. Well, we need some of that luck sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we haven't had any luck. Yeah.
Exactly. So we need some luck sometimes,
Well, Master, what about you from the stands?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I figured.
Listen,
Rudy?
Besides that, a couple things, right? Shelvick, that first half for Shelvick, especially defensively, Holy fuck! I mean,
that's one person that I was really wanting to hear about because I'm hearing mixed reviews. You're one of the big people that say that he didn't have a really good game. I'm hearing on the other hand that this finally is a game that gave him the confidence and he's doing well. Yeah.
listen. So just off the top of the head, right? There's a play. There shouldn't been any issues. They're trying to touch. No, I'm pointing one out, right? I'm pointing one out.
I know what you're going to go at.
But they're trying to play off the back, right? There's some spaces, there's some pressure coming in, but there's enough space to make a pass or even a clearance if need to, right?
Clear the ball. Yep.
My man decides to take a bad touch back inside, and lucky for us, like it doesn't result in anything, but like that decision making right there is scary.
I think I got slightly poked by the
no. Like the touch is bad, and then he realizes it's bad, and by the time he realizes, like the other players already taken it. Like, so even if you got poked, that's bad decision making. That's not professional level decision making at the back. I mean, given that you already seen how quick some of these Dallas players are, because you saw them when they wanted to press, even if they're pressing one or two players in, they get to you pretty fast because they got fast players. So that decision making is super scary. His positioning is fucking just, in my opinion, fucked. Like there was one play where they were called offside on the player, so the play wouldn't count it. But he was caught off position that he almost headers that back into.
Oh, that's bullshit. No,
that's
bullshit.
You don't think so? Okay.
That one's bullshit. Listen, everything else so far has been fair. That is bullshit. He's defending two players. No one else is backing him up. He's defending two players. You have this guy figure out, okay, do I go after the guy in the front or do I cover the space because of the guy behind me? What do I do? And he still got ahead to it. He tried to clear it. It's no different than what happened to Romney and what happened to people several games ago. The difference is that those two ended up in the fucking back of the net.
So here's where I disagree with you, right? I think the way the cross comes in, the guy in front of you is not making a play for that. And that's what I'm talking about position.
But the guy behind you is though.
What about the guy behind?
And that's what you got. No, I don't think so.
So what do you do?
I disagree.
So
I disagree.
Does he let it go?
What do you do? You have to fight for it somehow.
So no. But here's my thing. And when I'm talking about position, that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Bro,
he's in between two fucking players.
His position has a lot to do with
Can I explain why I'm bringing this up? The way when the cross comes in, and yes, I agree. Like there's two players. When the ball gets kicked up from the jump, you realize it's not for the guy in front, so you drift out wider, right? He stays in the middle, no man land, and then he tries to reach for the ball from later. Listen, at the end of the day, it was offside. To my opinion, from seeing it and seeing the replays of that play, he doesn't make a decision fast enough, and he ends up in no man's land. When I believe that he could have drifted wider towards the guy in the back, because the man in the front was nullified because of the cross was coming into the backside.
All three of them were within 1 yard apart from each other.
No.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. But the thing is, I think in the first half, defensively, I mean, even offensively, I didn't think he had that he was that much involved or he had that much presence. But he scares me. I think positioning wise and decision making, he scares me out left. And he was one of the guys who was almost shocking to me. I was baffled by the way he was playing that first half. And I felt like
I think he positioned himself correctly when from the times that I know that he was one-on-one with the players. I think he was pushing into the uncomfortable. Fine. Yeah, me personally, prior to coming on, I told Angel that I might have seen a different game just because I was in the stands, here and there, but you guys saw a different side. But Shelvick, to me, from what my personal opinion, from what I gathered yesterday and from what I was able to remember, I don't see much of a knock of what happened. Possibly because nothing came from it.
Oh, yeah.
If something would have came from it, probably I would have been focused on it more. But personally, I think that he was on the side against who's the guy with the mohawk, whoever the blonde mohawk is. He's pretty quick,
but they kept flipping around. They kept flipping around.
Yeah, but him, he's pretty quick, and I think Shelvick did exactly what he had to do with a quick player like that, position himself correctly. That's basically all I got on him.
Like I said, we could disagree on this.
I'm gonna be straight up. George and Masa, before Rudy jumped on, I was gonna start telling them, and I held off on it. I think because I figured you were, because I saw your tweets, right, and I figured where you were at, so I figured we were gonna be on opposite sides of this. 100%, I agree that at least in that first half of I'd say maybe about 30 minutes in total if you put his game. So I'd say only about 15 minutes of that first half if you put different spurts, because it was not at one moment. It was like he was good at the first half of it or the first quarter of the first. Or he had spurts, right, where he did good things. Yes, and he did some things that were very questionable. I agree with you 100%, especially that dumbass thing he did to the middle. He had a couple bad passes too, a few heavy touches that come to mind where, like, listen, bro, you're getting a ball played on that type of grass. Or there's no reason that ball should be bouncing up on you. I agree. There's a few that were, and there's a few. One, he really hasn't had a consistent run with that back line in a while. That back line that we just had was the same back line that had been keeping clean sheets and had been doing really well the first half of the season, or at least the first quarter of the season. Then when it started making all the rotations, all the changes with people and everything, and people being moved around with Araujo, the attempt with Traore, that's when our team started going to shit defensively. So this guy is coming back into this role. First of all, he's apparently, well, not first of all, like second of all, he was injured a bit or whatever it was, or he hasn't been part of this fucking squad in a minute, in that type of position. Like, and this is first time, if I'm not mistaken, actually playing with Pavon right there. So he doesn't understand if Pavon's the type of player is going to come back and support him. And he did not. Pavon did not come back to support him, at least not enough to my liking. There was a few times potentially, but Araujo was doing it more for what's his face to me than Pavon was. Pavon's hustle was on point. I'm not denying that. I just don't think that defensively he was dropping enough back for Shelby. And not necessarily Shelby. I just mean him in general. But I think it's just him getting accustomed to the team. I see where you're going with this. I don't want to get into it. I'm not knocking it. I have no issues with Pavon's game at all. I'm not knocking because we've seen him hustle. We've seen him drop back to defense, so I know he's going to do it. Again, I'm just talking about Shelby, right? Because I know where this is going. However, George brought this up. There were multiple occasions where he was caught up in a one-on-one or situations where he had to defend the fast players, and he did fine. He did well. He was fine. Okay. Especially in that second half, we're not going to get there yet, but just because I have to. That second half, he was on point. He was solid. He didn't do anything bad. A lot of his issues, at least that come to mind, probably came in maybe in the second half of that first half. I could be wrong. I don't recall specific times again. That's why I did say
after 20 minutes. After right? 20 minutes. After first 20 minutes.
And that was the team in general. We were defending. Mm-hmm. At that point, we defended the whole fucking game. Well, the whole second half. Polenta had at least two that come to my mind, very bad passes that he tried to clear the ball. Instead, he gives it right back to fucking to FC Dallas players on dangerous positions because they're fast. Okay, no one's addressing that because it's Polenta because he's been solid or whatever. That's why
no. But I tell you, reason why they almost scored on us in that first one.
But I'll tell you this though, right? You know why I don't mention Polenta? Because when he fucked up, the players were in front of him, right? Like, so he wasn't out of position. Yeah, listen, I don't disagree.
Everybody backed him up. And this is, all right, well, same shit. It's the same exact shit. When Shelby fucked up, his teammates backed him up, and nothing happened out of it.
Yeah, listen, but
same concept though.
But with Shelby, listen, and let's move on, right? But the only reason that Shelby scares me is the decision making that leads him to those mistakes. That's what really bugs me sometimes, right? Because it's like I think decision making.
I'm not denying that.
Is dumb.
That is fair. That is 100% fair.
Here's a couple more notes I took down yesterday from the game. Pavon, dude, like, and we'll disagree on this right now. Pavon, though, like, Pavon is different level. Pavon, to me, is 100%. Different level. Man, like, down the wings, one-on-ones. And listen, contrary to what you had just said, I think defensively, my man, like I don't think any of other wingers can defend or have the want to defend or back the team up to defend the way Pavon does.
I disagree.
Listen, we can disagree.
When it comes to that, I think our players have done well in the past to connect when it comes to defending. Antuna defending, I don't knock him at all.
Tracking back.
The hustle is there. Hustle, yes. Hustle, yes.
I agree with
for
that.
sure.
Yeah, that's what we're getting. But
Pavon,
coming back.
Did we not see that 35-yard dash that he did and then slid and got the ball? Like he stopped the play. Listen, I said,
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying that our players do defend.
That's just how Pavon plays, though.
No,
have you seen Pavon play before? There's nothing new, dog.
Doesn't matter. He's playing for our team, but he's doing it for our team now, and that's something I want to call out because we didn't have that before, in my opinion. And let's take a second and talk about that flick over two players. Dog, if it wasn't for like that, Like I think his
I
second
don't even have
step
to make these noises. I've been telling you guys for a minute. Pavon is the truth. He's
doesn't
legit as
matter.
fuck.
We've seen it now on our team.
Everyone said it. You didn't break news to us.
We could
Stop,
talk.
you guys never even watch him play.
Doesn't
Okay.
matter. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
we
Like
forget.
he's playing for our
You're the
team
only
now.
one that knows.
It doesn't matter. He's playing for our team now, and we can see it with the Galaxy jersey, and that's what matters to me. I don't give a fuck what he did before. He's doing it with the Galaxy jersey, and that touch right there was so stupidly. I mean, it was dog. When I seen that shit, I got legit screamed because I didn't see that happening, right? And then he just boop, like in both the players. If it wasn't for like I think the ball just bounced on him on his last touch, he's on goal. Like he's on goal with like the ball perfectly placed for him to take a shot.
Hey, shout out to Pavon though. He felt bad for the ball that he kicked into space last week. On Sunday, he sent another one up on the front.
Get some company.
Yeah.
Get some company.
Rudy, so, Rudy,
he headed it to his left. Did I get it?
Yeah. What's up? What's up, Angel?
And listen, I think we could spend hours talking about Pavon, but if you don't mind, I want to address something else. Because you saw the game like I did, and fuck that left side. Let's not even talk about the left side anymore. What do you think on the right side? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are
First
on
half?
Araujo, and what are your thoughts? Yeah, in the first half, because I saw one specific comment on someone very well known in our Galaxy family that said something about Araujo specifically that I didn't agree with. Listen, we can disagree all we want about Shelvik, but I'm not gonna knock that what you said. The statement about his bad decisions are there. Yes, I agree with that 100%. If we're gonna go off of that, absolutely, I'm not gonna knock it. Absolutely. Because remember, how many times have we say that the games are about moments? That one mistake that Shelvik did if that would have gone into a goal or whatever, that's a moment right there. And fuck, he could have had the best game of his life after that, right? But so I bring that up because I want to know what you think about Araujo and what do you think about
Felcher?
Felcher.
So here's what let's talk about Araujo because Felcher. I think Felcher did Felcher things, and to me, I think he's serviceable. Not necessarily a wing back, but I think serviceable. So I have no problem with him in our current roster. But Araujo, and it goes to another note I have here. I think Zlatan robbed him a lot because Zlatan was. So here's the thing, right? Zlatan drifted back a lot and was almost always on the right hand side. And it took and from where I was seeing it, I think it took a lot away from Araujo's game, where he doesn't have that middle prong to bounce off of and then continue that run that 1-2 onto space. I honestly feel like he didn't have space because now you have Leggett, Jonah, Zlatan all in the middle, and both like Leggett and Zlatan kind of drifting towards your right side where Araujo was at. I think it robbed him a lot of space to actually do something. What I will say though, I love the energy he had because. And we'll get into it, but because of what he provided and for always being present there, both on pressing and trying to push that, I think when Antuna comes in, he benefited a lot from all the hustle that Araujo did in the first half.
Specifically to your space comment, I agree 100%. I think there was a ball that maybe it might have been Efra that he bulleted it to the other side, and instead of letting it go, I think Zlatan thought it was intended to him, and he tried to stop it with his hand when Araujo was making that run to the right. So from what I saw, I see that personally. That's really much I got on Araujo. He's young. I think it's hard to critique a young man, especially in a position that he's probably played. He's probably played minimal. Sure, I get it. They're asking him to play. You're professional, but you have to understand his age. He hasn't played that position in a while, and when he did play that position, he played it with a certain plan. There was a plan to what he did, and he executed it well. So it's hard to be very hard critic on him.
Look,
why you?
And I bring this up because well now in retrospect, right now game's over. We won. Right. Obviously, we haven't gone second half, but everyone knows. At this point, everyone knows. So this is important to me. And that first half, when that first half ended and it was 0-0, to me, that was the weakest point to our squad. That's where our problem was. I felt that you bring it up to me from watching it again. Rudy, you and I see the game differently because although I play defense, although I play defense, you know me. Like I feel that the best type of defense is if we're attacking because then they're not on our side, right? But that's me. And I bring this up multiple times. I think Zlatan drifted to the right because I don't think Araujo was effective on his side. Yes, absolutely. I do think that his hustle on point. I don't knock him for that. But what George said, we asked him to do something. He came out. He was serviceable for the hustle, but he was not effective. He's not effective on that right wing. So I bring that up. I say in retrospect because we ended up winning. I'm okay with everything that happened with him, with how everything transpired. I just bring that up because if it happens again, this is not the first time. Everyone expecting him to do LAFC things again. And even then, I brought this up. One,
he didn't have a game against LAFC.
Yeah, huh?
I don't think that. I think he had a moment. He did
right,
a moment.
Exactly. He had one moment, and that's what everybody remembers him because people pay attention to stuff like that. They don't pay attention to his game. Again, this game had happened. He did well holding up the ball at his feet, not losing it. Obviously, he can do that. He's a professional, and he's fucking really good. He's going to be in our team for 2 years, and he's going to be gone somewhere that's going to pay him a bunch of fucking money, right? So he's capable of being serviceable there, and that's it. Because I saw some people saying that they would love to see him again there as a right winger. Like, no, bro, we should not be doing that again. If everyone else and the rest of our players are healthy, Pontius, Antuna, or whatever, we can't be playing with a boy because he can't take players one-on-one. And this is why I felt that Zlatan kept drifting out there because he felt like he'd probably create something off of that side because Araujo wasn't doing it. And again, it's not a knock to Araujo. It's just that that's not his position.
Well, let me ask something. Yeah. What do you think, in your eyes, what did Araujo need to do? Or what you expect him to do? What did he do for you that you wanted to see him do?
The reality is what our left winger was doing too. Take players on, create, do what the right winger is supposed to do. Now, defensively, sure, he was dropping back and defending, especially in that second half of that first half, and he was doing it fine. Which is why that's probably another reason too why people pay attention more to the left hand side because I do feel Shevchenko was tested more. You have two guys that play basically playing right back and right defense, which is why you didn't see them getting tested as much. Shevchenko is technically, and we'll disagree. Yeah, of course, Pavon's hustle was there, but he's not a defender. Right, and Shevchenko's which is maybe part of the reason why he was defending two players on that outside play, right? Again, it is what it is, but that's my opinion.
It has a lot to say about Araujo because I think that's our biggest critique for every winger that we have. They can't take on one-on-one, and I think we finally got someone in Pavon. And mind you, we do have Alessandrini that we're waiting, and I think that's what we need. We need that player. Everyone else is doing everything they need to do, but I think the fact that we need a wingers to take on players one-on-one, to be creative, to be that spark is what we need. But it says a lot to Araujo, the fact that he's playing in a position that's not his, and he's going up against people that played this position their whole career.
And also not something. Listen, I agree with you, right? I think for like George said, with Lasandrina there, I think we look different, right? In my opinion, I think it's a little harsh. Well, maybe not even harsh. It's just not something that I'm sure is in Araujo's arsenal at least yet, right? Like that ability to take one-on-one or the confidence to take on different one-on-one, right? Again, he's a right back or right wing back if you want to call it that maybe, but to say that his focus is on the attacking front maybe a little too much to ask. But I agree. Listen, I agree.
And that's my thing though. Like it was apparent. We didn't really create anything from that side. I mean, he had maybe one chance or two, not necessarily chances, where he tried putting crosses. One of his crosses was really shit, to be honest with you. I think it may have been a corner or just cleared. So, again, it's my shit. It's mine. It's a personal thing. Even Antuna, even Pontius, where I don't think they can necessarily take players one-on-one. At least the idea is to go forward, and that's their idea because that's what's engraved in their head. Araujo, what's engraved in his head is defend first, attack second. Yep. But we're at home. Again, 3 losses in a row. We need a W. Not to defend.
Listen, this goes any other way other than a win, and I think we're talking about that a lot more than we're going to do this podcast, right? Because we won, so we could forgive, right? Because we won. Yeah.
Which is, I said in retrospect.
Yep, 100%. I agree. Let's talk about one more player before we move on to the second half. Efra. All right. Man, I keep waiting on this game for him to. You want to talk something else? You have something else?
Yes. Okay. Weakest link was not on Araujo. I completely forgot Efra played.
That's a problem, right? And he's playing the 10 role.
Never mind. That's the weakest link. And I remember thinking about it. I'm sorry. That's on me. People probably are now, at this point to the pod, they're like, oh, okay, fine. People probably, when they heard earlier.
Before that, they're like, this fool, yeah.
Like, really?
I hope they shut it down and they don't listen to it. They just think you're a fucking idiot for the rest of the life.
You know what? I hope so. And legitimately, I forgot Efra even fucking played.
And that's the problem.
I forgot he played.
And that's the problem.
You know what's crazy? We're going to talk about Efra, and I think the person that played behind him played a bigger role in that position than him, which is Sebastian
Yeah.
Lletget.
What? Listen. So,
Dude,
But that's on the Efra topic. Like I think the fact that he didn't do anything crazy is huge to. I saw Lletget more in that position and being a box to box midfielder than I did Efra even playing one position.
And here's my thing, right? I keep waiting for, especially this game. I thought I was. I mean, I mentioned it when I saw lineups. I kind of want to see what he could do with some quality players around him. But man, he is not stepping up. He's not stepping up to the role. Listen, I think he had a really nice free kick. I think his cross was legit. I think his corner was legit, and then he had maybe like one or two of the crosses that were like dangerous crosses, right? But him on the ball, him as the cam, him as the creator, him as the plug. Yo, like my man couldn't even stand his feet sometimes.
No,
you know what I mean. And I don't know, maybe it's field, but
you know why? I think the fact that we have Pavon and Zlatan when we didn't have Pavon, I think he kind of needed to hold Efra's hand and say, "All right, come on, let's do this." But now the fact that Zlatan could play and be in positions where he couldn't have been without Pavon, he kind of forgets about Efra and kind of plays the game that he's always wanted to play.
Listen, and maybe right, maybe the team around him is maybe the team around him will do that and is doing that, but him, like the times he was on ball, the times that he had a chance to turn it and go or turn and give a good pass, again, listen, I think it was off. I think it was just off, and it's a little saddening because I really had high hopes for him, especially this year. Listen, I'm not giving up on Efra. This is not me giving up on Efra. But I'm thinking that he's getting his chances, he's getting his looks, and he's not really doing anything with them. Like at this point right now, we have two kids who, I mean, I think Araujo just turned 18, but we have two kids who are 16, 17, 18, and the one player that we're looking with a better light to me is Araujo.
Definitely.
Definitely. Efra has regressed. Again, I forgot he was even fucking playing. What does that say?
Yeah, no, exactly. And he's playing at his preferred role. He's not out wide. He's down the middle, right? Like, yeah, I don't know, man.
And it's fundamentals too. That it's like it's the fundamentals that are lacking at the moment. That's what's a little concerning, at least for me. No. Just small little things. Yeah, it's not even like, make that long pass, because he could hit a pass if he wants to. It's just little things, holding on to the ball, knowing when to turn, holding on to the ball a little too long. It's just fundamental shit that's hurting his game right now. Needs to be a little quicker.
For sure. Yes. Everything you said, yes. We go into half 0-0 in a game that at the beginning I thought we could have dominated and really gone up on the score. And then towards the middle, I thought we could have been down on the score. Towards the end, it kind of just levels out again, and it's 0-0, maybe the right score just because of the way the first half goes. Second half, how do you guys feeling going into second half? You guys thinking like we're this?
I thought the subs were going to come at the half.
Something come out? That obviously, I don't know if Massa and George got to see the game over. Rudy, I don't know if you were able to catch this during right before they go into the break. You know how what's her name, Megan Reeser, I think it is. You know how she usually talks to the coach or a player or someone. This time she spoke to GBS and she asked them about his thoughts on the game and blah blah blah. The one thing that stood out to me, and I think we've addressed this a few times, and people have addressed and questioned GBS's moves. He is paying attention to the games. You know what he addressed? What I addressed earlier. He said, I don't really call the exact verbiage that he used, but he mentioned basically Araujo and Felster, they're not connecting. And it's not necessarily I think it's just his English that he really wasn't able to interpret what he meant. I think he just meant like that's really where we don't see stuff going down, because a lot of the creativity and stuff that happened in that first half came through our left hand side, came through Pavon, which is what the expected person, right? The one thing that I did expect him to acknowledge at that time, again, I forgot that Efra didn't play, but was maybe addressing the Efra issue that, hey, he needs to be more involved in the game, because he wasn't. But again, he pays to the attention, obviously, because again, my issue was that right hand side, right? Because that's where, at least in the style that we play, it's get the ball to Zlatan. If we don't have someone that's gonna get them the ball on that wing, so that was big to me, which is why when George mentions that he doesn't be subs, I was surprised that there were no subs right from the beginning. I was What?
Right. Listen, well, and we started off that second half kind of slow, right? Where I feel like in the first 10 minutes, DC had the advantage. They
Yeah.
really took us to us. You know what I mean? But something that I really appreciated and that I was happy to see was the fact that GBS didn't hesitate. Right? Antuna comes in at the 54th minute, so not even 10 minutes into a half. He's like, all right, this is not gonna happen. Let's make a move.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Osman. We were in the stands together, and we were like, yo, this game is meant for Antuna. Like, this is the perfect game for him.
Why?
And
I want to see
Why?
if me and you're in the same thing.
Why?
I want to see if you and me are thinking the same thing.
well, I don't know, bro. That's what he told me, and I was like, you right. I was a little tipsy, so I agreed, right? But I mean, just basically what you guys said about Araujo, maybe Zlatan not feeling confident into going to the right side, and I felt like maybe Antuna could open up the wing a little better, and find them on a long ball, like how they were finding Pavon in the first half. Antuna could give you that. I think Antuna is a little faster than Araujo, so it's an option. So
Personally, I think it would have been a lot of the same if Antuna would have started at first. I think, meaning this game was meant for him. I think is because they were on tired legs already because of Araujo. That's personally what I think. Like I'm telling you, I didn't see the replay of the game, but I like Antuna coming off the bench when people are tired. I think he's a step above Emma, which is always what we wanted. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen. So one thing, the one reason I thought, well, one of the reasons is definitely what George said. I think if he comes in the second half, I mean, with his speed, he's gonna burn a lot of people, right? But also DC, I mean, Dallas is not a real physical team, and they're not big guys in the back line. You know what I mean? Like, they're a little bigger than Antuna, but they're not, powering guys like the ones he's seen at Atlanta. So I felt like he had a better matchup there, and I think when he comes in, you see that, right? He was able to, if maybe not go body, but definitely get in there and challenge for it more than he had in the last couple of weeks.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? So that's something that I thought would happen. And when he does, I think it was good. And not only, I mean, given all that his attributes that he has speed and that he could take that, I thought he had a really good game. I seen some of these balls that he got, like these long balls. The control of the ball he showed to bring those balls down in this game is something that we don't see 100% of the time with him, right? Like sometimes you see him kind of.
I disagree with you.
You think he sees often?
His strong is his control.
Really? Okay, listen.
After he takes his first touch, then that's his weakness.
Who?
Okay.
Antuna.
Antuna. When he controls the ball, I think he has a really good close control. But once he starts taking off with speed, I think he either takes a heavy touch or his crosses are not that great. But his first touch, I think, has always been solid.
You guys ever see the Mighty Ducks? At least the second one. You know that.
Yeah.
Kid that's all extra fast.
Go back to the podcast where I said that, Doug. Come
on. You may have. I'm surprised because you know shit about hockey. Nor are you watching.
I can confirm you were a Mighty Ducks fan before you were a Kings fan. So
actually, that's all good. I have proof.
Yeah. I know.
So I maybe you're right, Masa. Maybe I just notice more when he has bad touches. So you might be right. I won't say that. But I really liked his touches this game, and I thought as soon as he came in, it gave a different look to the Galaxy, right? Because now you're spreading the field really wide, right? Because Pavon can get wide and Antuna get wide. I think we talked about this, like spreading the field really wide. It just causes problems for defense because they can't be compact. And I think he came in and did well. Not only that, but I mean, what was it? Maybe like 5-10 minutes max later, he pulls Zafra too, and it brings in Fabio, another player.
Right,
who
before we get into Fabio, here's my $1 million question that I told the boys I was gonna ask before we get into it. Are you guys willing to splash the money right now to make Fabio a permanent deal?
Yes. Yes.
Because right now I'm all in for Fabio, Doug.
He brings a lot to the table that we wouldn't have had without Fabio. One, he's bringing in that sense of feeling for a sense of home for Pavon. I think don't extend their contract crazy enough, but I think another year or 2 years, as long as Pavon's here, that's a good connection. I don't complain with that at all.
So my contingency is that too, right? If we have Pavon, then I'm for it because I think him and Pavon, or just having Pavon around, we have seen a almost different Fabio in the last two games, right? And that's an immediate impact. If you asked me this 3 weeks ago before Pavon's here, I'm saying later right out to the end of the year, see where we end up. You asking me today with Pavon, I'm saying let's keep both of them together for as long as we can. I ride with that because I think both of them right now. I mean, 2 games in, we see a difference in Fabio. Pavon is Pavon, right? Like Angel said, Pavon is Pavon. But in Fabio, you see a difference when he got comfortable. I mean, he dropped a 35, 40-yard ball to Antuna on a dime, dog. On a fucking dime. I was bugging out because in his swagger and his patience, like he gets the ball, he looks forward, no options, kind of takes a drag back and then just pings it to fucking Antuna 40 yards out. I was like, yeesh, what?
Yeah.
Like we hadn't seen that from
let me rephrase the question then. Not necessarily splash out the money for a permanent deal, but would you guys bring him in as an option for the following season?
And we could get him another year loan?
If it's available.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Easy call. Especially if we keep Pavon, easy call. To me, easy call.
You want my take on this? And it's going to be
for it.
pretty simple. I've seen people saying that in these 2 games so far that Pavon has played, that Pavon and the Zlatan pairing, it's the best, greatest thing ever, blah, blah. People are not watching the game. The pairing right now that's making the Galaxy be what they are in that offensive half is that Fabio and that Pavon pairing. Those 2 guys together.
What was the other pairing that you're saying that people didn't want to see?
People are saying Zlatan and Pavon.
Which I think is nice
not
too,
at all.
though.
Hell no.
You don't think?
Yeah,
I think it's nice.
No. I'm not saying it's not nice, but to Angel, I think without that connection of Pavon and Fabio, the Pavon and Zlatan connection wouldn't be there.
Exactly. And
even more than that, like, so I see the connection, right? Because they're comfortable. But I think Fabio as a player, like his level just skyrocketed in the last 2 games, right? Because I mean, my point right now was he dropped the ball to Antuna 40 yards out. You know what I mean? He did this, and he had control in the midfield. Like when when Fabio came in, we had a cam. You know what I mean? We had a cam. We didn't have the first 65 minutes that ever played. So, and then maybe saying that out loud, maybe it was a contrast between Efra and Fabio that made him look that good this game. But to answer your question in short, Masa, if I could have an option for him for another loan for another year, I'm down with that. Let's see, and then listen. So back to my point, and back to my tweets. I tweeted something like, "I'm sorry for ever backing up Shavik," and of course, he does a fucking dope run. Listen,
bro. All right. First of all, that Pavon assist.
Okay, yeah.
You gotta start with.
Let's start with Fabio first.
There you go. Boom, Masa hit that shit.
Let's start with Fabio first.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
who's going?
You are.
You.
Oh, okay. Fabio's in the center circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he looks up. There's no option, so he cuts back. Then he sees Shelbeck making a run. He just tres dedos, dog, finds him. Nice little, and Shelbeck doesn't take a heavy touch, nothing. He basically waits till the defender's right in front of him, lays the ball off to Kichan, and then
continues his run.
He continues his run. He holds his run a little bit, and then Pavon finds him like the perfect ball, dog. That ball was on the money.
You know what's crazy to the ball? Before we get, dog, everyone knew that pass was coming, but the defenders couldn't do anything about it. It was just beautifully placed. Like, everyone saw the play happening. Once he passed it, you see the run, you know where the ball's going. But the fact that he got it through the 2 defenders, I was like, what the fuck? Everyone knew it was coming, but you couldn't stop it. It's like when I hate to make comparisons, but like, you know how everyone knows that Robin, Messi, they're all going to the left, but you just can't do anything about it? It felt that way.
But listen, and yes, 100%. I'm not going to take any credit away from Shavik, though. Right? Because he had, like, we all knew where it was going. He had to get there. Right? He had to get to there, and he does, and it's perfectly timed. Like, there's no questions of offside. You know what I mean? He gets there. He settles. He gives a touch. Zlatan slides in. Composure. Keeper goes one way. The ball goes to the other way.
Angel, bring yourself in right now in this conversation now. What people were saying about Shelvik's pass.
I was dying. I died. I'm gonna start taking screenshots of things that I see on Twitter and
Send to me
share
and
them
I'll
with
post
you
them.
guys. No, I don't want to post
We'll
them.
post them with a video.
No, no, because listen, it's people's opinions, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. And listen, if people don't have their opinions that contrast mine or contrast Rudy, because Rudy and I go back and forth on different shit. George and I go back and forth. If we don't have it, we don't have a podcast.
You don't have this podcast, yeah,
Right?
exactly.
We don't, exactly. So I'm all for it, because then we can talk about these things. However, I read one specific tweet, and this one I'm gonna see if I can find it. If I can find it.
I know who it's from, dog. I know who it's from.
They said something along the lines of, apparently Shelvik tried taking a shot, but ended up coming out a pass to Zlatan.
Are we sure they're not being sarcastic? Are we sure they're not being sarcastic?
I hope they're being sarcastic. I hope they were being sarcastic. I bring it up because that's the type of hate that people do have for Shelvik.
Yeah, so, okay, maybe. Listen, I heard some dumbass shit. I mean, I heard some wild ass tweets too. So I read some wild ass tweets. So maybe you're right.
So and some people listen, and some people post some real shit, like it's legit. So I hope it's sarcastic. I hope this person is lying. I hope. And again, I scrolled through and
who it is.
I don't remember, dog. Yes, I'm telling you, I'm gonna look for it.
It was Hugo.
On my post.
It was Hugo.
It was on the thread of
my
post.
My Hugo.
Yeah, you're Hugo.
Yeah, you're Hugo.
Nah, it wasn't.
Oh, somebody else too. Okay,
yeah,
what is it?
Hugo, I would have like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Hugo said it, but he might have been sarcastic though.
What I'm thinking about in terms of the verbiage, but I saw someone else. It wasn't Hugo. That's what I'm telling you. I'm gonna look for it. The point is, it's like, really?
Yeah,
I mean, he
no fucking way.
All right, but that's the type of beef that people get for Zlatan.
Yeah, no. Listen, that play. Can we do that over and over and over again? Or a variant of that play, because that's exactly what we got to do.
But we could only do that with Shelvik, because if Polenta's playing left back, it doesn't get there.
Okay. Listen, what I said, a variant of that, right? Where it's touch and go, and simple soccer. It's 1-2 touch, get in front of goal and put it in. A variant of that, right?
And I'm gonna add one more thing, because I fuck with Fabio. I've been fucking with Fabio. He's there to finish the play.
Oh yeah.
But the ball goes to Zlatan instead.
Yeah. He makes that run
what's
too.
Crazy? If it was Fabio originally where Zlatan's position, I think he dummies the play and he still leaves it up to Zlatan. Which Fabio's such a good player. He sees that vision.
Yeah. Listen,
he was there though. He was there to close it out just in case.
He was.
Just in case.
But that was a hell of a goal. That one to me was a hell of a goal. I liked it. It was good. The whole play, and at that point I felt we deservingly so on top. Right, we're 1-0 the game. I felt it was good. Right after a goal, I also knew that Dallas had to come after it. Right. I mean, Angel mentioned it. There's like 5-6 teams that are all within second and I think 9th place in the Western Conference.
If Dallas would have won, they would have jumped us.
Yeah, right. So they have to come out. They have to come out, and I figured that if they come out, we would be, we had the advantage there, right? Because we're at home. I think quality's on our side, and if they're coming attacking us, then we can hit them on the return. And I think the rest of the game was a lot of that. There was a. Did you guys catch that fast break? The fast counterattack that we almost got, where
No, I didn't.
So I think it's Fabio who starts it off. No, I'm lying to you. Zlatan who starts it off out on the left bank. He starts it off. Nice play, kind of a fast driven ball towards Fabio in the middle. Fabio first times it to Pavon. Pavon chases down, and I'm telling you, like, he clips the defender, but he doesn't clip the defender, and he gets because he's looking for that bounce on the ball to kind of bring it back in. Instead of getting the ball, he clips the defender, but he manages to get the ball instead of the defender. The defender's going one way, and the ball staying right in the middle of the big area with 1-on-1 against the keeper. Listen, I haven't seen that since fucking Robbie Keane, Len Donovan days. Remember in Williamson days? Remember like when these guys were when they could do 1, 2, 3 and
Williamson.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that since those days. And when I saw it, I was like, ooh. You know what I mean? Zlatan to Pavon, it was like a 35-yard, maybe like a 25-yard through ball that almost got to him.
That shit was wild.
And he supposedly tripped up the defender, but he really didn't.
No, he did. No, he did.
Oh,
Yeah, he did. I don't know.
Did they call
got
a
him.
foul? They called a
Yeah,
foul,
they called
on
him.
him,
They
right?
called a foul.
That was
Yeah.
rightfully so. Rightfully so. That was a foul. But like, listen, the intention of that and the fact that Pavon hadn't even initiated his run when Zlatan gets the ball, but he knew what the fuck's gonna happen, and he has the pace for it. He gets there and he's maybe a millisecond away from getting to the ball before the defender does. Man, I'm liking this a lot. And this is 2 games in. This is him being here for under a week.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Eddie from the Knack Boys said we don't lose another game this season. Listen, I'm just saying.
I think yes. I could confirm that that's accurate because we'll start tying games. We won't lose, but I think we'll see some ties in there.
I hope we see a lot more wins than ties. Yeah, man. I think Dallas comes out and they try to attack, and they have to attack, but I never saw us back in a lot of danger throughout the second half. Do you guys remember any real
I think
like
we put
danger
ourselves. Sometimes we put ourselves in our own danger, and that's where I give Shelvick shit. That was a through ball that instead of he tried to control where the guy it was him and the guy running, and he instead of kicking it out, he placed it for the guy instead, and the guy took a shot. Luckily, the guy shoots like Angel, but that shit was nowhere near. But if it were someone like Masa or me or Rudy, that shit would have been nice as fuck.
Me too. Cool. I like it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that would be there.
That's how I'm gonna score on you.
If I'm goalie, yeah, on your team, you'll score on me.
Score on him.
Can we talk about the penalty Pavon gets for us?
Yep.
I wouldn't have fought. I listen. It's a penalty, but my man threw himself 5 seconds after they hit him.
But you know what?
He had to. He
He
go
got
to the
hit.
floor.
He got hit.
Yeah,
but it's
no,
one
he
of
got
those,
hit.
like,
He got hit, but he had to go to the floor because at that point the other defender was already in front of him.
Well,
If he doesn't go to the floor, they might not call.
And that's it. And that's it. And listen, I can appreciate this. I'm sorry. My bad. I think I cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get this out.
I was done. I was done.
I
Remember, I wasn't there, so I don't know what you're talking about. But
I really appreciate the fact that he doesn't go down immediately because he still wants to get to the ball. He still was trying to fight for it, and then he realized, okay, I legit got stopped. I got hit. I got clipped. I'm gonna go down, right? But his first intention is not like this is a penalty. His first intention is like, can I still get there? Can I get the shot off? No, I can't. I'm going down.
He tries to take the extra step, and when he realizes like, yo, that fool's already in front of me with the possession of the ball, I'm just gonna fall. Like it was a foul. They could look at it. I know I got clipped and try to stay on my feet. I couldn't. I'm going down.
Yep.
Simple.
Man, Pavon is so elusive, dude. Like in such short area. Oh my god. Listen, Zlatan said one thing today. He said, or it might have been yesterday. I'm not sure. I read it today.
Yesterday.
He said, but when something different, he won't be in the MLS for long. I agree. I agree. My man hadn't played a game this season in Boca, or he hadn't played this year. He comes in 2 days, he shows what he can do. 3 days later, he comes back in and he's still man. My man is something else. Did you guys at all thought Zlatan would give Pavon the PK?
no chance.
Nope.
Right? Yeah.
I think Pavon doesn't ask for that PK.
No, I don't think that's either.
But one out of respect, just because it's the second game. Maybe like because we know Zlatan will give up the PK, dog. He did for Drini last year.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure. I just don't think Pavon.
Yeah.
I don't think Pavon's that comfortable yet. It's his second fucking game, dog. Like, he just. It feels like he's been here for a minute, right? Because I
just hope
not
Pavon
like he's
doesn't
been playing with us, but.
I just hope he doesn't beg for the penalty. I think BT did
Like
that shit
BT?
to Joseph.
He's been doing that for like he did it in the weekend, did it yesterday too. Man, it's funny because watching the game, man, and I was like, oh, Pavon should take it. And I'm like, that ain't happening.
No
I'm like, this Zlatan wants it.
And you saw when he
Zlatan
scored
needs
the goal, he started talking shit to Jesse Gonzalez. Fuck Jesse Gonzalez. I could confirm I was giving him shit yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
We put in that penalty. It's 2-0. It's 78th, 80th minute, something like that, around there.
Like 81st minute already.
Okay, somewhere around there. It is. Yep, 81st. Cabal. GBS does something that I enjoyed seeing. He pulls Pavon and he brings in Carrasco. He shuts the game down. Right. I think we still created another chance after that, but with that, like he shut the game down. We won 2-0. That we were always gonna win 2-0 at that point, and I fucks with that. I think it was great. to see him close the game down. Boys, we got to win at home. We stopped this 3-game losing streak. We're up third place, 1 point behind Minnesota out of all teams. And it's ours now, right? It is ours to keep. Is ours to get home field advantage for at least one game.
It's ours to lose.
Players. Yep. So I mean, here we go.
Can I talk about that really quick?
Yes, go for it.
Because that's why I said I could probably make a case for what Eddie you said. Eddie, right, George? That says
Eddie.
that we're gonna win the game.
Rudy said that. Yeah, but Eddie.
Rudy, my bad.
He said we won't lose another game.
We talked about this before the LAFC game. I think it was even a game or two before that where we talked about the games that were coming up. Right, we took fat ass L's, and 3 of those are the ones that we talked about where we said we could potentially saw. Basically, we had tough slate of games coming. Right now, if I'm not mistaken, it gets slightly easier in terms of the competition that we play. Right, if you think about the team, Seattle's not doing too hot. We have Sporting Kansas City, we have Vancouver, we have Montreal. Those are I think 4 teams that come to my mind that I know we play at some point in the near future. Those are all. Well, and Chivas, right? But that's on automatic 3 points. So all those other 4 games are games that come to mind. We're like, okay, listen, these are games where we could probably win out. So 5 in a row that I think that we should be able to win.
With that being said, though, we've had the New Englands, we've had the Colorados. Granted, we didn't have Pavon, but at that time, we were still a better team on paper. We were a better team. So I listen to what you're saying, but I just want to go out there and fuck. I don't want to go out there and be like, listen, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Because I think if you go back to every one of our podcasts, we go and be like, yeah, there's no way that we're going to lose this. And then we come back sad as fuck on Monday.
Especially those games, though. Especially those games.
Especially a lot of games that we talk about uncertainties and that we want our wingers to do this and we want our wingers to do that. We have that with Pavon now. Fabio's playing at a different level. It's a small sample size. It's 2-game sample size, right? Mm-hmm. But even before Pavon came to the picture, Fabio's game has been picking up, since the LAFC game. And when you guys mentioned this, that he didn't have terrible games, in some of the games that we lost without Pavon. Was it what was it? Atlanta and
Portland.
And obviously I don't remember
Portland,
right? But you guys mentioned that offensively we created quite a bit. We just didn't put the ball in the back of the net. Now we can just figure things out defensively. And I'm a proponent about not changing shit from the back. Right, so when a lot of these things happen, the changes happen when they started experimenting with people and experimenting with Troller and Araujo. That's when our team started fucking up in the back. Remember, again, I mentioned this early in the pod. At some point, our D was doing fine. So why change it if it's not working? If these guys just got a clean sheet, you put these same 4 guys back out next week. Well, next game, my opinion. Yeah. Anyways, I want to throw that up. But the next game's coming up.
I'll see that. And speaking of next game, this Saturday we play against Seattle Sounders. Again, man, another team that's in that pack, that second place to 9th place, tight gap or tight group of teams. So,
can I add something?
Yeah, go for it.
Seattle's nice as fuck, though.
They're also missing. They're also missing a defender that's nice as fuck too.
Listen. I think Seattle was nice as fuck, but over the last 6 games, they have 1 win, 4 losses, and 1 draw. Okay, that's,
Call a trap game right now?
Let's get into it, right? Angel, you alluded to keeping the same lineup or same back 4.
No, same back 4. Yeah,
same back 4,
not
not
the same line.
All right, run through a lineup for Seattle for me.
For me, Matt Lamson. Listen,
you ain't shit.
Shelvick. Obviously, Steris, Polenta, and Felcher. Why you keep fucking up with shit? One person we didn't address. I think Leggett had a hell of a game this past.
Oh
week.
Yes, fuck, 100%.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it.
Okay, and my bad. I guess I missed that. Defensively, this motherfucker was on point again.
Box
in that
to
true
box.
midfielder role.
Offensively too,
exactly.
he did shit. He did shit that he would never go. Like he get the ball, sprint down the middle with the ball.
Right, and again, to me, that's where I would go to bat and fight against people that I think paired next to Jonathan Dos Santos, that is his role, and that's where he should be playing. Oh shit! I just want everything.
Step, move.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. A few people are only
so skinny nowadays. They don't know each other.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I need that again. I need JDS and I need Leggett there again. I've been asking for this forever, right? We just got it. Boom, baddest performance. I hope he delivers again. I need that again. And the Camero, obviously, I'm guessing they gave Fabio a little rest. You start his ass again in that Camero. Pavon's going to do Pavon things. And then, because we have no other option, Antonation's going to go on the rotation. And then, who else up top? Come on.
Zlatan. Yep.
All right. Let me take a bat at this because I have a completely different lineup for what you think. I want Polenta on the left.
Okay.
I want Polenta on the left just because Pavon, Polenta, and Fabio are all close. They're all really united, and I think that would really help out. In the mid, I would have People and Gonzalez. No, People and Polenta. People and
Steris.
I'm getting stuck. And Steris. On the right, I will have Araujo.
Oh, really?
Right, I have Araujo. Yeah. On the right, I have Araujo.
Okay.
And then from there, Antuna in front of Araujo. In the midfield, I'd go back with Jonah and Sebastian. On the left, I have Pavon. In front of the midfield, I have Fabio. And then up top, I have Zlatan. Yeah.
Masa, you got a different take, or what are you doing?
I have the exact same lineup as George. I think Butcher sees a bench this game because I don't think he does 3 games in a row.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
I don't think he's trash. I don't think he's trash.
You're talking about fitness-wise.
Yeah, fitness-wise, but I don't know because I think Araujo plays League Cups on Tuesday, so Butcher might get the start.
If he got a red for the League Cup last game, does he still play this?
I think Polenta still goes.
Cup, no?
Hold on.
Oh, no, you're right. No, so yeah, Araujo plays this game definitely.
Hold on, relax, man. I know this shit.
You guys talking over each other.
Podcast?
We're talking over each other. That's what I'm saying. Hold on to. That's all.
You're talking over me right now.
No, I wasn't.
You are. Look, hey, you see?
I do think Polenta goes back out left, and then we see People and Steris again in the middle. Everything else, I think Seba stays. I think because Kitchen's hurt, Corona still might be hurt. Jonah, obviously, don't take him out.
Supposedly he was just rested.
Yeah, I thought he was just resting. I don't know if he was hurt.
He said that there was like some kind of knee issue.
Oh yeah, but they said he would be fine for Saturday. There was a precaution.
The Galaxy don't tell you.
That's fair. That's fine. Yeah, you know what? That's right as fuck. My bad.
I agree.
And then
I didn't know Kitchen
on the left. Yeah, Kitchen has a pelvis issue.
Again? Didn't he have that? Go for it. Sorry.
That's what I read. And then obviously Pavon on the left, Antonation on the right, and then Zlatan up top.
Yeah.
So, similar to George. It's just to me, it's either gonna be Rolf and Araujo starting. One of them two is
trash.
No, I agree. I forgot that Araujo did get a red card in the League Cup, so he can't play. So I think he will be Araujo at the right. And for me, the only reason why he's starting over Felcher is because of that. I don't want to see Shovik. I'm sorry, I'm disappointed. I don't want to see Shovik, so I'd rather see Polenta, People, Steris, and Rolf.
I might want to see Shovik though.
I agree too.
Because they have Jordan Morris, dog, and we don't have anyone to back to match that speed.
Listen, that's fine. I rather not see Shovik. I agree with you guys on Leggett and Jonah. Definitely Fabio, Pavon, Antuna, and Zlatan. Plus, I think when we have Jonah and Leggett, Fabio, Pavon, Zlatan, that's a lot of quality in this team. And I mean, midfield going forward, it's a lot of quality. So I want to see that. And I'm saying when Drina comes, it ain't fair. I mean, if we have a listen, nope, not even.
I can confirm I met Drini and he doesn't know who Angel is. That's just wild to me.
All right.
Well, Kimura did.
All right, guys. We have Seattle Sounders, right? They, like I said, they've had in the last 6 games 4 losses, 1 draw, 1 win. The win came over Houston Dynamo, who just lost their head coach because they're trash. Their last lineup, and this could be different. I don't follow Sounders. I don't follow the football, so don't know. But they came out with Silva, who just got acquired, and Ruidas.
Rudy Diaz.
I can't say his name. Roldan, Lodeiro in the midfield, who are the player. Listen, Roldan, Lodeiro, and Ruidas are the ones that think concern me the most. Because I think those, their quality, they could put together some stuff. How do we beat them? What does the Galaxy have to do to beat them? And this, I think, I'll share my opinion, but I think should be simple.
You know what? It's gonna be so stupid, but I think we play Zlatan ball in the air because they don't have Torres back there to put a body on Zlatan. So I think we do the creation. No, Torres is suspended for 6 games because of the PED, I believe. But I the same shit Angel's taking. They just haven't caught Angel yet.
Yep.
but I think we do the creative stuff. We let Pavon do his magical cut to his right, go back to his left, put it in the air, and slap them all.
Yep. What do you guys think? Angel Massa?
No, I think this might be a trap game. I think Seattle's been unlucky in a couple games. But,
it's a trap.
Listen,
we're still fucking though.
Listen, what I'm asking you is, what does the Galaxy have to do so it won't be a trap game? How do we win this game, in your opinion?
Give the ball to Fabio, and then to Pavon, and then to Zlatan, and then goal.
Hey, that's the recipe. Angel, you got anything a little bit more detailed than that?
How much more detail you need, dog?
I think that's a trap game, and I bet you $5 right now. It's not a trap game.
No, I said we're still fucking, so I don't care what you say.
All right. I think it's going to be a
man.
repetition of the FC Dallas game because FC Dallas, sure, they might not be great, but they also don't have shit players. It's just the Western Conference in general is definitely better in overall in terms of quality than the Eastern Conference.
I agree.
But even then, Seattle does have some really good players. Even right now, I think this, and again, you guys know how pessimistic I am, right? When it comes to our team in general, I think we're going to take fat-ass L's every fucking week. This team is gelling, and it's especially even, again, from the, I guess let's just say the LAFC game to now, even with those L's in between, we've talked about how much more fluid our team has been, and we've created, and we've been unlucky, and if we put something in the back of the net, the results could have been different, blah, blah, blah. I think we're going to start writing some momentum right now, and we're going to fuck Seattle. They're still going to find a way to score at least 1 or 2. It might even be too close for my liking. I'd say it's a 3-2 game, but we're definitely going to win.
Ooh.
Hmm?
You know what? I want to add one more thing.
It wasn't, but the point is, I think it's going to be a little bit more open than us just dominating the game because Seattle does have, quality players. Sure, they may not be doing great, but it's also the Galaxy, and every team that comes and plays the Galaxy, they always find a way to step it up. So it's not going to be like we're going to dominate the entire game. It's definitely going to be a little too close for comfort, but I still think we're going to come out and we're going to win.
I want to add one more thing. Key to success: Seba and Jonah stopping Nico Lodeiro. If you neutralize Nico Lodeiro, dog, you basically fuck their offense. In my opinion.
Listen, I said, those Lodeiro, Roldan, and Ruiz Morris.
I'm not worried about Roldan, dog.
I'm not worried about Roldan either.
Overrated.
Overrated as fuck.
Listen, my opinion, I think you stop. There's 4 players.
Opinion.
There's 4 players who I think you worry from in that side, and that's Roldan, Lodeiro, Ruiz, and Morris plays Morris. But I do think that, again, and I say this so often, our key for us is what Jonah and what we're assuming the Jet do in this game. How well they control that midfield, and how fast can they turn and give the ball to Fabio or Pavon, or even give that run to Antuna, right? That's gonna be key, I think, in my opinion. Listen, I'm looking at their backline. At least the backline they played on yesterday, and I don't recognize, other than Jones, who plays out left and who's a pretty fast guy. I don't recognize that name in that backline. You know what I mean? And this is a backline who's gonna have to be worried about Zlatan all game long.
Pavon.
No. Listen. I think they worry about Zlatan all day long, which gives Pavon the option to cut in and take a shot from right outside the area with his right foot, right? Which I think we've all been wanting to see. And
he's gonna send a third one to heaven
with his right foot, not his left foot. All right,
not chill. The right foot was the first one too.
Oh, you're right. That's the one I missed. I didn't see it, so I don't count. Okay. All right, from Seattle side, is there anything that you said it, Lodeiro?
I'm worried about Oledo, dog, and Raul, whatever the fuck his name. Yeah,
Peruvian cat. Yeah, no,
the Peruvian guy.
Yeah,
because he's fast and
he scores.
He's good with his feet. Yeah,
like he has a nose for he has a nose for goal. So like he knows where the goal's at. He hasn't been as dominant as he was last year though. At least in that goal,
Same shit that happens to everybody, dog. The only man that they can't stop is Zlatan second season because they can't. But you get used to how someone plays and you figure out their game.
All right, Angel, you called what 2-1, 3-1,
3-2,
3-2. Who's scoring for you?
David Bingham 2 on goals. I say Zlatan gets 2 again and Pavon gets his first.
Oh, please let it happen. I need that to happen. George, what you got?
I have 2-0. I think our defense is gonna flex. I think we'll have a really good showing. We need that, especially starting to go into the playoffs. We need a consistent back line, and we need to stop moving shit around. So hopefully we start flexing. Zlatan Pavon.
I hope George is right.
Same. Me too.
Mm-hmm. I need that.
Marcel, what you got?
I got George on the flex, and I call 4-0 Galaxy win, dog.
Whoop! Then we're whooping like that? Okay.
I think Zlatan scores 2. Pavon gets his first. And my boy Fabio is going to get his 5th of the season, dog.
4th, right? 4th, because he's on 3.
Oh, yeah, 4th. You're right.
Yeah, 4th. I'm going to go somewhere in between. I'm going to go somewhere in between and say 2-1. With a brace from Zlatan again.
I say it with your chest, dog, because he's on.
I said a brace, homie. I said a brace, homie. Right. I said a brace from Zlatan. Getting him to 19, right? I'll be getting him to 19. Yeah, brace from Zlatan, 2-1. I don't think it's gonna be a game. I think it's gonna be a Dallas game where maybe for a small section we get worried, but after that we're the dominant team or the better team, and not really feeling like we're gonna lose at any point. Dope, man. Listen, we've getting last weekend we had some teams drop points. We also dropped points, so we didn't move up, but we didn't move down. I'm hoping some teams drop points this weekend. And we gain some points and get handle of that second place spot.
When you think about that, that's one of the good things that we played 2 back-to-back Eastern Conference teams because while we were playing those guys, teams in the West were playing each other.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why there was. We lost 3 games in a row, and we weren't. We never dropped past 5th place. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. All right, boys. Angel, do you have any ACB plugs for today?
ACB
plugs.
These are the ACB plugs.
ACB. Plugs. Brought to you by White Claw.
And I'm saucy.
I
wasn't even ready for that.
What the fuck?
I wasn't ready for CB plugs. Back me up here.
Pickups.
All right. As a matter of fact, merch pickup in general. So Saturday is a typical. Tailgate. Expect 3-4 hours before. Obviously, music. The tailgate, the whole 9. Obviously, you want to get there early because it's ACB 121 sold out, packed as fuck. So the stadium's supposed to be close to at least capacity. So get there early, get their tailgate. Yep, hang out with my friends. Take free Angel posters, start a petition to get me back. Pretty much it, I think.
Wear white. Always wear white. Home games wear white.
That's arguable, I guess.
Home games we wear white. Fuck that.
Listen, you can listen to Rudy if you want, or you can wear blue.
Wear fucking white. Fuck Angel. He's not even going to a game, so it doesn't matter.
The only reason Angel wears a blue kit is so it won't look like his head is. Never mind.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah,
that your head is white as fuck, dog. You don't need to wear white. You blend in with the jerseys.
All right, sure.
All right, boys.
But anyways, there's nothing really major. At least it comes to mind. Otherwise, I would have had the info.
All right. Sure. With that being said, it's a long-ass episode of The Tailgate. I'm your boy Rudy at I'm Smart on Twitter. I'm Smart on Twitch. I'm Smart on the gram.
Jay Undefeated 7 on my left-hand side. Angel, look. I'm Prince today. There you go. There it is.
Who's hurting you?
David Bingham was hurting him.
David Bingham's hurting. You know what's hurting? No, man, I'm not gonna get.
Close this motherfucker out.
Follow me at LiveItAF96 on Twitter and at ADF3691 on Instagram. You want to see my six pack? Go there.
Masa.
Peace, love, and cheese.
Peace.
What it do, baby?